Welcome, tennis fans, sports aficionados, and everyone tuning in from across the globe to what is undoubtedly the most electrifying narrative gripping the tennis world today. We are standing on the precipice of a monumental collision, a match that has generated so much buzz, so much raw anticipation, that it feels as though the entire nation of Italy has collectively held its breath. The headline flashing across screens worldwide reads, "All of Italy stopped. Alexandra Eala intends to bury Magdalena Fręch in the clay court at the Italian Open." Now, while that phrasing might be dramatically drenched in the gladiatorial spirit of Rome, make no mistake, the sentiment behind it is rooted in absolute, undeniable reality. Today, we are witnessing the collision of youthful fire and veteran grit on the hallowed red dirt of the Foro Italico. This is not just another first-round match. This is a statement of intent. This is a battle line drawn in the crushed brick of one of the sport's most historic venues. On one side of the net, we have Alexandra Eala, the 20-year-old sensation from the Philippines, a player who is currently riding the wave of a career-high world number 42 ranking. She is a phenom, a prodigy who has evolved before our very eyes into a legitimate, terrifying force on the WTA Tour. And she is stepping onto the court with a level of aggression and determination that has commentators and fans alike sitting on the edge of their seats. The narrative surrounding Eala right now is not just about participation. It is about absolute domination. She has come to Rome not to play, but to conquer. On the other side of the net stands Magdalena Fręch. At 28 years old, the Polish stalwart is currently ranked number 45 in the world, though let us not forget she soared to a career-best number 22 just last October. Fręch is a seasoned warrior, a player who has navigated the treacherous waters of the professional circuit for years. She possesses a wealth of experience, a tactical mind, and a gritty resilience that makes her an incredibly dangerous opponent for anyone, regardless of their ranking or their momentum. But the story today is a sheer, overwhelming force of Eala's preparation and her singular focus on dismantling Fręch's game piece by piece. The atmosphere here in Rome is nothing short of electric. The Italian Open, officially known as the Internazionale BNL d'Italia, is a WTA 1000 event. It is the final crucial battleground before the grueling test of Roland Garros in Paris. Winning here means everything. It sends a message to the rest of the locker room, and Eala is looking to deliver that message via airmail. The whispers around the tournament ground suggest that Eala has approached this clay court swing with a ferocious intensity never seen from her before. She made the calculated, highly strategic decision to withdraw from a smaller WTA 125 event recently, choosing instead to lock herself away and grind relentlessly on the practice courts. And she didn't just practice anywhere. She spent grueling hours at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. She immersed herself in the very temple of clay court mastery, absorbing the philosophy of the greatest clay court player in the history of the sport. She has been refining her slide, heavily applying topspin to her ground strokes, and sharpening her mental fortitude to endure the physical suffering that red clay demands. This brings us to the crux of the headline. To say she intends to bury Fręch in the clay court is a metaphor for the overwhelming, suffocating style of play Eala is looking to execute. She wants to dictate every rally, to push the Polish veteran so far behind the baseline that she is effectively hitting from the grandstands. Eala wants to make the court feel impossibly large for Fręch and incredibly small for herself. The stakes are astronomically high. For Eala, a victory here is not just about advancing to the round of 64. It is about validating her rigorous preparation, proving her mettle on the dirt, and carrying the astronomical hopes of her massive global fan base. For Fręch, it is about survival, about using her veteran guile to weather the storm of this young powerhouse and reclaim her form after a frustrating, injury-interrupted start to her European clay swing. The tension is palpable. The stage is set. Let us transition now into a deep, comprehensive analysis of exactly what to expect when these two athletes cross the white lines, and the first ball is tossed into the Roman sky. To truly understand the magnitude of this clash, we must first dissect the extraordinary evolution of Alexandra Eala. This is a young woman who has carried the weight of a nation's sporting expectations on her shoulders since she was a young teenager. Coming from the Philippines, a country with a passionate sporting culture, but without a deep historical pedigree in professional tennis, Eala has been a trailblazer in every sense of the word. Every milestone she reaches is not just a personal victory, but a national celebration. And sitting now at world number 42, she is no longer just a promising prospect. She is an established, formidable presence on the elite tour. Let's look at her 2026 season so far. It has been a season of immense growth, characterized by significant breakthroughs and invaluable learning experiences. She boasts a solid 16-11 win-loss record coming into Rome, a testament to her consistency week in and week out against the best players on the planet. But the European clay court swing has tested her. At the Linz Open, she ran into the buzzsaw that is former French Open champion Jelena Ostapenko. In Stuttgart, she faced a tough first-round exit against Leylah Fernandez. In Madrid, she secured a fine opening win before being outmaneuvered by the tactical brilliance of Elise Mertens. Some might view these losses as setbacks, but in the brutal ecosystem of professional tennis, they are the exact crucibles required to forge a champion. Eala has not retreated after these defeats. Instead, she has doubled down. This brings us back to her preparation at the Rafa Nadal Academy. Clay court tennis is a fundamentally different sport than playing on hard courts or grass. It requires a distinct biomechanical approach, a different cardiovascular engine, and a completely altered strategic mindset. On a hard court, you can hit through an opponent with sheer pace. On the slow, grinding red clay of Rome, the surface absorbs a pace. You cannot simply hit a winner. You have to construct the point. You have to use angles, heavy topspin to push the opponent back, and drop shots to exploit the space you have created. Eala's intensive training block was designed specifically to master these elements. She has been working on her movement, learning to slide into the ball rather than running to a stop, which allows for better balance and quicker recovery. She has been cultivating a heavier ball, increasing the revolutions per minute on her forehand to ensure the ball kicks up high out of Fręch's strike zone. Now, let's turn our attention to Magdalena Fręch. It would be a catastrophic mistake for anyone, Eala included, to underestimate the Polish veteran. Fręch is the definition of a seasoned professional. She has spent years grinding on the tour, learning how to win ugly, how to dismantle opponents tactically, and how to survive in difficult conditions. Last October, she reached a career-high ranking of number 22 in the world, a remarkable achievement that speaks volumes about her peak capabilities. However, her 2026 European clay campaign has been fraught with challenges. She was forced to withdraw from prestigious Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart due to injury, a massive blow to her momentum. When she finally took to the dirt in Madrid, she suffered a straight sets loss to the Argentine Solana Sierra. Fręch is coming into Rome looking for redemption and searching for her rhythm. Her game is built on consistency, movement, and an uncanny ability to absorb pace and redirect it. She is a counterpuncher who thrives on making her opponents play one extra ball, daring them to overcook their shots and make unforced errors. This presents a fascinating stylistic matchup against Eala. Eala wants to dictate. Fręch wants to disrupt. Eala wants to hit through the court. Fręch wants to use the court's slowness to her advantage, extending rallies and testing the younger player's patience and physical endurance. The psychological warfare in this match will be just as crucial as the physical execution. Eala is stepping onto the court with the immense pressure of expectation, both from her rabid fan base and from herself. She knows she is the favorite on paper, and she knows the narrative is focused on her potential dominance. She must channel that pressure into aggressive, focused energy without crossing the line into reckless impatience. If she goes for winners too early in the rally, attempting to literally bury Fręch, as the headline suggests, she risks racking up unforced errors and playing right into the Polish player's hands. Eala must combine her raw power with disciplined shot selection. Fręch, conversely, has the advantage of playing the role of the underdog. She can step onto the court with nothing-to-lose mentality. If she can withstand Eala's initial onslaught, if she can dig out those heavy forehands and force Eala to hit 3, 4, or 5 extra shots to win a point, she can begin to plant seeds of doubt in the younger player's mind. Fręch will look to use her slice backhand to keep the ball low, denying Eala the pace she likes to work with, and forcing the Filipina to generate all the power herself, which is incredibly exhausting on a slow clay court. We must also deeply consider the specific conditions of the Foro Italico. The clay in Rome is unique. It is often described as heavier and slower than the clay in Madrid, which is played at altitude, allowing the ball to fly faster due to thinner air. Rome is played at sea level. The air can be humid, and the crushed brick grips the ball intensely. This heavily favors a player who is willing to suffer, the player who is willing to engage in grueling 20-shot rallies. It favors immense physical conditioning. Eala's camp is confident that her recent training block has prepared her perfectly for this environment, but there is no substitute for match play. The Foro Italico is also an amphitheater of incredible noise and passion. The Italian fans are notoriously vocal, and the atmosphere can be intensely intimidating or wildly inspiring, depending on how a player harnesses it. Furthermore, we must look at the broader context of the tournament draw. The stakes of this first-round match are magnified exponentially by what lies ahead. If Eala manages to overcome Fręch, her reward is a second-round clash with the 31st seed, China's Wang Xiyu. Wang is a formidable opponent, currently ranked 33rd in the world, and she already holds a psychological edge over Eala, having defeated her in a tightly contested semi-final match at the ASB Classic in Auckland earlier this year. And if Eala were to navigate past Wang, the path only becomes steeper, potentially setting up a blockbuster third-round encounter with the world number 2, Elena Rybakina. Therefore, Eala cannot afford to look past Magdalena Fręch. This match requires her absolute, undivided attention. It is a foundational building block for what she hopes will be a deep, historic run. Every single game, every single set will be a test of her resolve. Will we see the Eala who was meticulously crafted at the Nadal Academy, the player who uses heavy spin, strategic drop shots, and relentless consistency? Or will we see a player who becomes frustrated by Fręch's defensive wall? This matchup is a microcosm of the classic tennis battle. The unstoppable force versus the immovable object. The young, aggressive challenger looking to impose her will against a veteran defender looking to survive and advance. The physical demands of this match will be astronomical, but the mental fortitude required will be even greater. As we look toward the conclusion of our extensive analysis, let us zoom out and reflect on the monumental significance of this moment. The fact that a first-round match at the Italian Open is generating this level of global attention is a testament to the magnetic star power of Alexandra Eala and the compelling, high-stakes nature of the WTA Tour right now. The headline, "All of Italy Stopped," speaks to the theatrical, almost operatic nature of professional tennis in Rome. It is a city that appreciates gladiatorial combat, and this match promises exactly that. For Alexandra Eala, this is a defining moment in her young, incredibly promising career. She is no longer flying under the radar. She is a known entity, a player with a target on her back, and a player who commands the spotlight. Her journey from the courts of Manila to the grand stages of the European clay circuit is a story of immense dedication, sacrifice, and an unwavering belief in her own potential. But potential must eventually translate into results on the biggest stages. Winning this match against a savvy veteran like Magdalena Fręch is the exact type of result that cements a player's status as a legitimate contender. It proves that she can take the lessons learned on the practice court and execute them flawlessly under the immense pressure of live competition. It proves that she is ready for the grueling demands of the French Open that looms just around the corner. For Magdalena Fręch, this match represents an opportunity for a massive statement of her own. The narrative has heavily favored her younger opponent, casting Fręch almost as an obstacle to be overcome rather than protagonist in her own right. But the Polish star has the tools, the experience, and the competitive fire to completely upend that narrative. A victory over a highly touted, highly ranked rising star like Eala would instantly reignite Fręch's season, providing a massive injection of confidence and ranking points. It would serve as a stark reminder to the tennis world that experience, tactical intelligence, and unwavering resilience are just as valuable as raw power and youthful exuberance. The impact of this match extends far beyond the confines of the Foro Italico. In the Philippines, millions of fans will be glued to their screens, enduring the time difference to watch their sporting heroine do battle. Eala has become a symbol of national pride, an inspiration to a new generation of athletes who now see that it is entirely possible to compete and win at the very highest echelons of global sport. Her every forehand, her every service motion carries the hopes of a nation. This level of support is a beautiful thing, but it is also an incredibly heavy burden. How Eala manages that weight, how she channels that energy into positive, aggressive play, is one of the most fascinating aspects of her development as a champion. As the players prepare to take the court, the tension is reaching a fever pitch. The red clay has been meticulously swept. The lines are pristine, and the stage is perfectly set for a drama of the highest order. We are about to witness a fascinating clash of styles, a generational battle, a profound test of physical and mental endurance. Will Alexandra Eala's meticulous preparation and aggressive intent allow her to, as the headline suggests, bury her opponent in the clay? Or will Magdalena Fręch's veteran guile, defensive mastery, and sheer determination allow her to weather the storm and emerge victorious? The answers to these questions will be written in the dirt over the next couple of hours. It promises to be a grueling, spectacular, and utterly unforgettable encounter. This is the beauty of professional tennis. There is nowhere to hide, no teammates to rely on, and no timeouts to regroup. It is just two athletes, separated by a net, engaged in a beautiful, brutal physical chess match. Thank you for joining me for this comprehensive deep dive into what is undoubtedly the most captivating match of the day. Stay locked in, savor every rally, and enjoy the phenomenal spectacle that is the 2026 Italian Open.